Hey everyone, Nicole McGurk here with a quick tutorial on how I create the backgrounds with the Hero Arts cling stamps, in particular the cling dots. The first thing I'm going to do is I am going to show how I create the whole card just from start to finish. So I'm using a Spellbinders oval die in my Big Shot. Move that out of the way real quick. I'm going to take this CC Designs stamp, and this is just a cute little girl stamp. It already has the cling material on it, much like the Hero Arts cling stamps, so it'll stick right to your acrylic block. And I'm going to ink her up with some Memento Tuxedo black ink and stamp her on that die cut oval. She's so cute. And then I am going to go ahead and color her with my Copic markers. I'm just going to speed through it really quick. I'm going to color her face and any skin there is. Add another a little bit shade darker, the E00. The first shade is E000. And lastly, even a little bit darker is E11 with R20 for the cheeks. And then I'll blend that all with E000. I used a red for the little hearts on her dress. For her hair, I kind of wanted her to be a redhead, and I don't follow the rules for the colors I've seen they use for red hair. I like to use Y11 and E08. I just think it gives a nice color of hair. So I did the Y11 first, did the E08. Now I'm kind of blending them together a little bit just to smooth it out. I added some of that E08 to the tip of my blending pen to add just a little bit more color, and then I went back in with the E08 and added some more of the highlights, or to darken it just a little bit more so it didn't look quite so smoothed out, more like natural colored hair. And then I'm going to color her dress with some pinks. I'm using about 3 shades of pink here to give it some nice blending and depth of color. Decided to add a little E08 for her freckles and then blend those in with the E000. Also used the pinks on the little hair bows in her hair. For her little socks, I'm using some really light shades of pink and using the very lightest shade I used on her dress to highlight, just so that it doesn't look like skin color, but just a little bit darker. And I used a couple of browns for her shoes. A little bit gray on the white parts of her dress as well to make those pop, and a little bit of white pin for the center of her eyes. Okay, here is a sheet, of Sweet Blush cardstock from Papertrey Ink, and I'm cutting it in half lengthwise like this. I really like my cards that open from the bottom. It's just something fun and different, and it's a standard size card. It just opens and has a little bit different presentation than what you normally see. I thought I had my video camera on and I didn't, so I'm just going to show this again. This is the Martha Stewart scoring board, which I didn't think I needed, but I love. This is the first sheet that I folded in half without using the scoring board, and you can see that crease in it and how bad that looks. That is one of those things that happens. Even though I used a bone folder to fold it in half, I still got that crease. With the scoring tool, you will measure the piece of cardstock in half at 5.5 inches, since it's an 11-inch card or piece of paper, and you want it to be 5.5 inches tall. I use the scoring tool right there at the measurement 3 times and fold it over, and you can see the difference in how nicely that folds and how nice the scoring looks on that card compared to the other one where I didn't use the scoring board. I didn't realize that I would like it as much as I do, but I really do like it. Okay, here comes what I want to show you today. The cling dots, or any of the cling stamps, really, background stamps from Hero Arts especially. This is how I use them. I very, very, very rarely take them and stamp them like you do a normal stamp, where you turn them over and stamp onto your paper. I take my stamp, lay it face up on my work table, then I'm going to ink it up really good. I'm using the blush colored pink ink from Close to My Heart. Get that good and inked. Then I am going to take, email, sorry about that. I'm going to take my card and get it lined up and lay it right on my stamp, just like that. Then I'm going to hold it in place with one hand and press with the other one. Make sure I kind of go in smooth strokes. You could use a brayer, but I'm lazy. I don't want to go look for it. I always use them this way. And when you lift it up, perfect dots. This is how I use it when I stamp with regular dye ink like this, or if I stamp with Versamark to emboss the dots. So I know I've had some questions about how I get such perfect dots. This is how I do it. Okay, to finish the card, I thought she needed a little frame to kind of help bring her to life. So I die cut a scallop frame from a Spellbinders die out of the gray cardstock from Paper Tray Ink. It's not called gray. I think it's Smoky Shadow maybe. And then I cut another strip from a pink, the rest of that pink cardstock for my greeting. And I'm using a stamp, or several stamps rather, from Ali Edwards Studio AE stamps from Technique Tuesday. It's a club that you can join and get stamps, I think, each month. I just joined. I love her stamps, so I thought this is one of those things I'd get a lot of use out of. These happen to be for cards, which I think are super fun. And at first I took my soft blush ink and I stamped For Everything there with a little cute dotted line with the pink. And then I realized I'd stamp the thank you in black and it would cover up the For Everything. So I moved those out of the way, flipped my paper over. I didn't want to cut any more paper and nobody's going to see it. And I stamped the For Everything in black. Then, after I did that, clean my stamp real quick, I like to take my clear stamps like this, lay them out and make sure that's going to look good. That looks great. I'm going to pick them up with my acrylic block, ink them up with the blush Close to My Heart ink, and stamp that right there. And that looks perfect. Then you can read everything. So I'm going to adhere that right there. Put my ink away. I'm going to adhere that. I decided to distress the edges of that with an edge distressing tool. I've been doing that a lot lately. I used to all the time, and then I went through a phase where I never distressed anything, and now I'm kind of distressing a little bit again. I like how it looks with the more graphic feel of the dots and the stamp design. I think that's kind of fun. Then I'll adhere my, I made a little bow out of some ribbon, so I'm going to see if I like that. And that looks really cute. Trim the ends of it real quick. This is also Paper Tray Ink satin ribbon. And I put some foam adhesive on my stamped piece and adhered it, and I added a button there, or I trimmed the shank off the back of the button with those Tim Holtz scissors. They literally cut through almost anything. They are so wonderful. You couldn't normally cut through a back of one of those kind of buttons with regular scissors. So I cut that off and added some glue dots. I'm just going to adhere my bow with some glue dots and adhere that really cool rhinestone button over the center of my bow. So adhere that first. Need another glue dot. Make it stick good. And there is that rhinestone button that's really cool. So that's a tip. If your button, sometimes those that have those big shanks on the back won't work well in your project, just cut it off. For more information on this project, please visit my blog at www.nicolemcgurk.typepad.com. Thanks for watching.